Good Lord, I'm over here talking and I'm on mute. Happy New Year, everyone. Can you hear me in the place tonight? Hey, Christina.
Hi, I was enjoying the
I was
dancing.
over here.
You were talking.
Yeah, I was dancing, and then I started talking, and then I was like, "Why is the music still playing?" And I was
Messed
like,
up your
"Girl, you
groove.
still on mute." Happy New Year, everyone! We are in the building today.
Happy New Year.
Oh gosh, that was so funny. Welcome to Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasting here on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bri, and host Christina Chambers here in January 9th, 2024. Woo! Woo!
It
Look,
does feel different though. There's a different feeling this new year. For
it
me
is.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a different feeling. And I'm feeling really good. I don't know if this is coming with age, because you know how they say, like, once you turn 40, you start
Mhm.
feeling different. And I'm just like, I feel hopeful. And I was asleep before that bell dropped, that ball dropped. But yeah, it does feel different. It feels good. It feels like it's going to be a good year for me. I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. But that's what we're gonna talk about today, huh? What we're
Yeah.
hoping for, and I feel
Yeah.
good about 2024.
Yeah,
There's
me
a lot
too.
to feel good about.
Yes. Although I didn't bring it in feeling good, I still
Yeah, I
feel
saw
good.
you dancing. I was like, "Look at her. She's feeling so much better."
Listen, I'm feeling so much better, but can you guys believe that I'm struggling with my sleep. So I don't even know where this energy came from, but it's here. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, the last I was look, let's get into it. Oh wait, let's do our land acknowledgement.
Okay. You or me?
I got it pulled up so I can do it real quick.
Okay.
We acknowledge the land, sorry, you guys. We acknowledge that we are on traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish, Suquamish, Nisqually, and Snoqualmie and Muckleshoot tribes. We also acknowledge what has happened on this land to impact the lives of the Black community in Seattle due to redlining. If you are a family that was impacted in Seattle due to redlining, which stopped you from being able to pass down generational wealth to your family, we would love to hear from you and hear your story. If you can connect with us at www.blackdollardaystaskforce.org. All right, let's get into it. I don't even know where to start because I'm so excited. Let's start about, okay, you guys. I don't know what's going around here, but I was sick, and this is the longest I have ever been sick. I was sick for like a week and a half because I woke up Christmas morning, after not Christmas morning, I woke up the day after Christmas with a sore throat. And then that just turned into just coughing and just being tired, like a really, really bad cold, right? And then that turned into low energy, just feeling lethargic. Um, I don't think it was COVID though. It did it was just a really, really bad cold, but it's going around. Like so many people have complained about feeling this way. And so I just want to take a moment and let's just talk about like being safe and being tips that we can do to be safe. Normally I don't get sick. Normally, I can be around sick people and don't get sick. My husband had COVID twice. Twice. I laid in the same bed with this man, kissed him, shared his food, and then I did not get
Did
COVID.
you want it to?
I didn't want. Well, let me. I didn't want it, and I didn't purposely do those things. It's just that
You
those were
couldn't
things
help
that we were.
yourself?
No, oh no, I can help myself, please. I mean, if you knew me, if you guys knew me, no,
I
Christina
know
Stark can
Julia's
help
like
me.
a big teddy bear, but
Yeah, no. When the family is sick, any signs of sickness, I stay TF away from them. So let's get that out the way. No, I am not one of those women. My husband is sick and I need to be sick with him. These are things that I did before I knew he had it. So
oh,
before I knew he had it, like one day it was our anniversary, and I'm all making jokes with him. This man is like, I don't feel like we were, hanging out. We have food. I ate some of his food because that's what us wives do. We eat our husband's food. I kissed him, and then but he just started feeling sick, and he was just having chills, and he was just laying there. It was just us. We were just chilling. And
mhm.
I'm over here cracking jokes. Like, he's like, I have chills. And I'm like, are they multiplying? Because Greece get it.
You
And I
so
felt bad because turned out he had COVID.
wrong.
And so yeah, once I found out, please child, I stayed away. Okay. It was horrible. Like, we were not very supportive. We should have been more supportive. Like, we all went to go get COVID tested. And as we were reading, I was reading our results from the doctor in front of him. And it was kind of like the Oscars, like, Christian, you do not have COVID. And he was like, yes, yes, we're all celebrating. Meanwhile, Julia's sitting there sick, just sick,
Sick.
sick, shivering and chills, just
I'm
dying. And
sure you
wanted,
provided him with everything he was supposed to have from a
yeah,
distance.
from a distance. Go. I slept on the couch. You could have the room. Look, what do you need? Don't come out of here. Um, And then the second time he got it, I didn't know. So no, no. When people are sick, I already period try to keep my distance from people. Like, me and my cousins, me and my children and family have talked about this. Like, because sometimes people don't have the best hygiene or their breath stink. So I always try to keep my distance. So I don't tend to get like, yeah, I'm getting better. I used to be this ridiculous germaphobe. I'm getting better. I'm
I
getting
never knew
better.
this part of you. I thought it was all about bugs and dirt and snakes and worms in a box that you can't see that you want
Take the
out of your house.
worms. We know, like you like it.
We
I
got
don't want it.
worms at Clean Greens now. We are now
Yes,
worm farmers.
yes. Look, we are just doing the dang thing. I was just to get our topic real quick because we do talk about farm. I was starting to watch The Biggest Little Farm again. I watched it before, and I don't know. I'm just like, you haven't seen it? Oh, it's on HBO Max, and um, and he said like they brought a farm. They brought a huge farm. Like, I want to say I forgot how many acres they had, but it was over
So it's
20
really a
acres.
documentary?
It's a documentary about like these people. When I first watched it, I was like, oh my god, this is so corny because it's like we bought a farm for our dog because he couldn't stop barking when we left. But
Oh,
it turned into this whole. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful documentary, and I wanted to watch it again. And one of the things that the guy said, and the thing that I resonated with, was he was like, at what point do you feel comfortable calling yourself a farmer? Because I still hesitate to call myself a farmer, but I still
mhm.
be farming. So I'm a
Just
farmer.
call yourself like a nouveau farmer or
A new
something to go with your queen title. I don't know.
Okay. Vogue farmer, is that what you
I said nouveau,
Oh,
but
new
because I was thinking you're
Vogue.
a new farmer, you're a young farmer. I don't know. I bet you're gonna think of some. Give it to Coriel.
I'll fix them. Give it to Coriel or Daniel, because Daniel always be coming up. Well, no, Brain of the
Oh,
Garden. Daniel, Brain of the Garden. He already gave me that. I like that, actually. That's just why it's still there.
okay. And
but
then you're just gonna
but I
slowly like transition up to
yeah, yeah, it's just something
master
else. Like,
farmer.
I'm really over here like I'm in it. Like well, let's get back to sickness real quick and then we'll go into that. So you guys, I just wanted to say this to say, long story short, something's going on around out there. We need to be safe. Um, I typically don't get sick, and I feel like one of the things that made me vulnerable to getting sickness is that I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't resting. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't making sure I was drinking things right. So my body was down. And I think that made me more accessible to catching something. So make sure that you are getting rest, taking care of yourself. Make sure you're taking your vitamin C, upping your vitamin D intake, getting in those greens,
Yeah, we're
getting
gonna
in
talk
those
about
greens.
that too, those greens.
Yeah, yeah. And making sure you're washing your hands, sanitizing, keeping your distance, mask up if you can. I mean, I know it's hard because I don't typically mask up, but just making sure you're keeping your distance as well. And if you're sick, if you're sick, you know, in this world, in this country, we don't give ourselves permission to be sick. We always try to push through when we're sick, and we got to stop that because our body, people, I don't think we take for granted how vulnerable the human body is. So
Mhm.
when you're sick, take the time, give yourself permission to take time off because the only way that you're going to get well faster, because we always try to get well faster by drugging the hell out of our bodies, which is not always the best for our bodies.
Mhm.
One
It's
of the
like putting a
main,
Band-Aid on a cut, right?
yep,
It's not getting to the root of the problem. You're
yes,
just dealing with the
exactly,
symptoms after, you know?
yep,
And you said stay, give yourself permission to be sick, including staying home, and one of the things that the doctor, um, told my daughter's, father today was she needs to stay at home until next week, and if more people would do that, what you said, take the time and recognize they're sick and stay home, stop spreading it, we would stop spreading it.
yeah. And
So,
that's
yeah.
the thing. It's like we spread it because we keep going to work, but this world
But
has
there's also a
been,
a element of, some people have to go to work.
yeah,
I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but I remember, being sick, I had to go, when I was cleaning houses, I had to go make my money
yeah.
because if
But
I didn't
because
go to
some
work,
people,
I didn't make my money. I couldn't pay my bills, couldn't buy groceries.
right, because kids are dependent on you. And that is the sucky part. And for those of you who have to go to work and have those conditions, wear a mask. Wear a mask. And just make
Mhm.
sure when you sneeze, you cough, you're coughing in yourself. Like when I was sick, I still have this thing to do. And I felt like I had to go, but I kept my distance. I wore a mask and I stayed in a certain area and try not to be around people. um,
Mhm.
because that is one of the things that spreads it is that we keep going and this world has conditioned us to be robots to press through, but your body needs rest.
Yeah.
And one of the deacons called me and I told you and I was like, I'm sick. And she's like, oh, you done got caught up. She's like, you be resting, you be going. You got to give your body some rest. So make sure you're resting. Make sure you're taking your vitamin D, or taking vitamin C, making sure that you are taking care of yourself. Just take care of yourself. I couldn't say it anymore. And I want to say rest, but I know a lot of us, especially me and my peeps, we are over here dealing with insomnia. So take some magnesium
Mm.
before you go to bed or get some melatonin. Just take this time to start like getting your body ready and rested. Spend January. Like a lot of times we all talk about goals, and we should have goals. Goals are important. But I
Yeah.
think that we should start like in January, just start transitioning our bodies and, getting focused on our total health, not just physical health, getting skinny, but like, let's take time in January to just listen to your body, sit still. What does your body need? It's going to tell you. So
Yeah. Especially
that was my
after
spiel.
the stress of the holidays, what you were saying.
Yes.
It's like go, 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 and that really is a lot of stress on your body, and then
Hmm.
January is New Year's resolutions, so everybody's like, "Go, go, go again." So,
After you
yeah.
done partied all night just to say Happy New Year at 12 o'clock in the morning. It's like
Yeah.
our bodies is like, I need some rest. And we're just
Mm.
ignoring it. until we just can't go anymore. Like I literally like was like, I went for get out and get fresh air. Get out and get fresh air if you're not sick. But if you are sick, rest. Because I tried to get out and get fresh air. And yeah, I felt good on that walk. But when I came back in, I was like,
Too
it was
soon.
ridiculous. Too soon. I was like, my body just passed out on the couch and I couldn't move for the rest of the day.
Your body was like,
So
"Oh, we are not ready for this. What is she doing?"
right. It's like, why won't she listen to me? I need rest.
All right, we're gonna shut her down for real now.
So yeah, so like what Christina's daughter's doctor said, get rest, stay yourself, take your time. If you have vacation time, I seen this thing on Facebook too that it's a little deep, but it just really resonated with me too. It's like, we work so hard, we save those vacation days, we save those sick days, we working hard to put into our retirement, and some people pass away before they can even utilize any of that.
Mm.
And it's like, yes, work, yes, save, yes, be responsible, but also take time to be responsible to you and take those vacation days, take those sick days, enjoy life, enjoy your family. Okay. That's my little New Year's spiel for today. Or is it? Because I got more. This new year is a new year and but it's like I was doing some work before the new year on me and I'm just like ready to share with the world.
Thank you. We
So
appreciate
that,
it.
no problem, no problem. So yeah, so let's talk about the farm. Our what's going on in the farm. We have worms. I forgot what I said. We put a pin on it and we're gonna come back to it, but y'all I forgot. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure as we're talking, it'll come back to me. But let's talk about the farm. You have to send me the worm pictures and we gotta show the worm pictures next week or something.
I
Because
will.
okay,
I'm
because you
still
said
on
you're
the
gonna
search for shredded paper. Apparently everybody has a service to pick up their shredded documents, and they will not
oh,
give them to me.
you need
Yes,
I
I
have a
went to, like,
stroller.
3 different businesses looking for including the school that we teach at, but they're like, "No, can't have them." I was like, "Okay, well."
Um, I have a shredder. I'll see if I have shredded paper in it, but I do
Oh,
shred stuff and I do need stuff to shred. So look, I'll shred
okay,
it
yeah, if
and
you since y'all are gonna be helping feed the worms, um, send me your shredded paper and worm food
okay.
weekly.
You said since
Yeah,
I on the show on that show, The Biggest Little Farm, they had their little worm bin thingy too, and they were putting their worms in the bin, and I thought about ours, and I was like, I wonder how they're doing.
yeah, they're gonna be some soldiers because 'cause we're starting in the winter, so
Good, good. It's so interesting to me. Like, I was talking to my cousin who just moved out to Yakima, and a lot of
For a
people be
job?
wondering, like, huh?
For a job?
No, she just needed this
Yeah,
time, this
really?
space. When she went out there, she
Yakima's
just
beautiful.
it is. And I can get it because when I go out to the farm in Duval, it's like this. It's just this different feeling that you didn't know your soul needed.
Mm.
And so she moved out there to just,
Is she from
just
the city, from Seattle?
yeah, yeah. We were born in Oklahoma, but we're city kids. We grew up in Seattle. So we're
Mm,
city kids. But I told her like that southern peacefulness is deep in us. And
yeah.
so when you go out to it, it comes back to you and that feeling of feeling good. And I think that's why she made that move. So it wasn't for a job, it was for her
That's
peace, her mental
awesome.
health, her soul. Her soul needed it. And
Mhm.
so yeah, she's out there, and we were talking about starting this farm, not us starting a farm, but just like the idea of starting a farm. When people think about starting farms, we think it's like so hard and it's unattainable, but it's like it's something that you just start with. I look at me trying to sound like a professional. I was like, if you want to start like a little garden, just maintain the important things to think about in the beginning is your soil health,
Mhm.
building that soil health, and just put it and knowing when to put the food in the ground and knowing when to take it out, and just focus on making sure you're weeding and watering it. That is just like a simple beginning tip that once you start doing that, then you start to research and you start to do things and then you become legit because that's how I feel. That's what I'm doing. Like I didn't come in with all these expertise. I came in being trained by the farmer, and then as I started doing it, I started to want to know more. I started to want to learn more. So then that's when books came into play. That's when watching this documentary about starting a farm, because like it literally takes you through some of the processes that they went through to start the farm. Like they weren't even experienced. I don't know. Like that's a whole nother systemic conversation about like how they just have this thing to be able to get this big old farm
Yeah.
with no experience. But they brought people in too. They brought people in to help. They brought in experts. So I guess long story short, don't be scared to start a garden. Don't be scared to start a farm.
Yeah. And
Um,
start small, like you said,
Start
and just
small.
every
Yeah,
year you just build on it. And that's how you create
yeah,
a sustainable garden, and then
yep.
as your confidence and knowledge grows, you'll see it. You'll see it in your yard. People will probably
Like
be coming to you soon for
right.
advice.
They already do. And at first I felt intimidated, like, uh, I don't know if I'm the expert, but it's like, no, I do know myself. I do research. I am in it. And so now this year I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with helping. And then I got a project for me and you that's outside of Clean Greens,
Mhm.
that we may need to work on. So it's not nothing big. It's just someone needed help in their garden. So I was like, well, let's go
Yeah.
over there and help out. And it's like it's just like stuff like that. Like I never would have thought that I would be interested in, but here I am doing it and I love it. Like I love what we do here at Clean Greens. I love growing the food. I love the community connection. And I binge watch High on the Hog.
Oh, I
Season
forgot.
one, season two. You guys have to go. You guys have to watch High on the Hog on Netflix. Biggest
Yeah.
Little Farm is on HBO Max. High on the Hog, Biggest Little Farm. It's
Mm.
so important to watch these things, and there's other projects that I want to do with Clean Greens with us that I can't wait to tell you about. But High on the Hog talks about the connection of food to our history and who we are, the connection of how we talk about it's sometimes hard to get volunteers because people are scared to come out to the farm because we associate that with slavery,
The stigma.
when the
Mhm.
stigma, when the thing is this farm and this culture is in our ancestors, in our roots. They brought these people over here because they were already farmers. They already knew how to cultivate the land. They already knew how to grow the produce. And so there's some talks about like, you know, um, what it means to be on the farm, what it means to be Black in America, what does Black food mean? Because they're always talking about soul food, as in barbecue, fried chicken, blah blah blah. But Black
Oh, they
people are
talk about oh, I
so,
gotta watch that.
yeah, they talk about it all. Like Black people are, we health, like soul food for Black people too was having vegetables with their meals, growing,
Yeah,
the importance of growing your
like
own food.
greens, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know who I said this to, but I think that greens huh, I wanna do, like, research on greens. I hope that Clean Greens can support me, but I think greens were this like a medicinal crop, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was a medicinal food, and it was a big part of their diet. They call collards cow greens because that's what they fed to the cows, and a lot of times, that's all the slaves were able to eat were foods that were foods that were suitable to livestock,
Mm,
but they flavored
mm,
it with bits of meat or, what we call fat back or little
yeah.
pork. So we weren't eating plates of meat. We weren't. We
Yeah, we
weren't
won't.
allowed to. That's not what our diet was. But, one of the slides that I, sent in is talking about the benefits of collard greens, and they're like I think they're considered superfood. They're like
Yeah,
nutritional
they are.
powerhouses. And if you think about it, if you think about like, okay, the Bible talks about there's a time and season for everything. And we know we're supposed to eat with the seasons, right? So these
Yeah, they
dark
talk about that
leaf,
too.
they do. Oh, I
Hmm.
gotta watch. These dark leafy greens that over winter provide us with everything that we need. You know, we just need
Yeah,
to take advantage of it. We just need to cultivate it, keep it going. And that's one benefit of gardening versus industrial farming. You can't have the same variety. Like all the stuff we have in the
yep,
garden spaces, it's kind of hard to do that in industrial farming because you plant in rows. You plant, you grow a lot and you
yeah,
process a lot at a time in the same way. And you don't do that in gardening. But in gardening, you can keep your crops going. Like in our garden spaces, we're harvesting what, 5 or 6 herbs. We still got broccoli and the leaves are edible, which, Coriel
yeah, for
loves.
real.
And a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
he
know
loves
that
us.
you can eat those leaves because you only see broccoli heads in the grocery store, right? Because that's how they give it
Yep,
to us. You don't see cabbage with the dark greens on it that we call cabbage greens because they strip that off because they think the consumer doesn't want it. But the dark leafy green leaf is what we're supposed to be eating. You know what I mean? So we have all
yeah,
these crops that we can keep going in the garden space. And so if people, and that's what Clean Greens really wants to do is to help people learn how to grow their own so that they can,
yep,
it's just easier to eat healthy when you go right out to your balcony if you live in an apartment, or yard if you're blessed to have a house. So,
yep.
we want people to grow their own food and learn all the things that they can grow and not buy in the grocery store. You don't have to go to the grocery store and buy arugula and collards and all these things you can take off your grocery list. So also
Pretty
saves you money when you
that
grow your
that
own.
exactly. And they talk about that too in High on the Hog, the importance of growing your own food. And I think that this is a good note to end because we're done with time, which is crazy because I feel like we just was getting started right. But I think next week we can dive back and review about like starting your own garden at home, especially when you have your own
Cauliflower
I put
leaves.
cauliflower leaves, yes. When you starting your own garden at home and you don't have the space or you feel like you don't have the time. Let's dive into that next week on
Mm.
Clean Greens Live, broadcasting here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Thank you guys for joining us. Hey Janet, Happy New Year. Up next, Bill AM.